Hey Josh,
What's up?
you know how we call ourselves a review podcast?
Yes.
We haven't actually reviewed anything. We've just discussed the episodes, but we haven't actually given it like a 6 out of 10 or anything
Oh my
like that.
god, you're right.
So, we're already kind of falsifying what we are. In my mind, we're still a review. We are reviewing the season. We're rewatching the season.
So, retroactively, what would we give Gary Space?
10 out of 10.
And then the pilot,
10 out of 10.
episode 1.
0 out of 10.
You heard it here, folks. 0 out of 10 for episode 1.
Wow.
I think I just thought of that and I thought it was kind of funny. I think we just sort of jumped the gun on calling it a Final Space review, but
We're basically a Final Space recap slash
yeah.
Josh nitpick shit.
I also have another very quick question. Are you hungry?
Are you asking me, or are you asking our brand new guest host?
Oh, hello. I just had supper, so
Oh, well, like, I know this really great local place. They sell street meat.
Street meat?
is it called TERA CON Prime?
It is, actually. Well, as kind of previously stated, welcome to TERA CON Prime Time, a Final Space discussion? Review? Who knows at this point?
It's a show!
It's a podcast. We're watching every episode of Final Space and talking about it. My name is Jeremy. I'm one of your hosts.
My name's Josh. I'm your other host.
And this week we have a very special host.
I'm Blaze.
How do we know you, Blaze?
I'm your very special friend from Canada.
We all kind of know each other from a lovely little place called the Final Space Discord, and make sure to check that out. The link is in the description. And we are here to discuss episode 2. Now, we all have just watched episode 2 today, so it's all pretty fresh in our minds. Josh, do you think there was a little theme that was mentioned in a previous episode?
I don't know where you were going with this.
Oh, my gosh, it's like you're the only one that doesn't listen to what we record. No, I was talking about how every episode, it would seem, is now opening up with a countdown.
Ah, you're right, Jeremy.
Oh yes, the opening. And he's got 8 minutes of oxygen left.
8 minutes of oxygen, and it also opened up with a previously on Final Space, which is I guess new because it's episode 2, and maybe you're not used to this whole show. It's called Final Space. Maybe you did need a recap of what's going on here. And Gary's saying like he's made 2 friends already. And little does he know he's going to be making more friends this episode.
Even more friends. Wow.
And also, like, just watching the opening bit, we've kind of talked about it. I still wish they put a little more attention into, like, the animation. Because while it's still great, like, just watching him sort of, like, float around in space in certain shots, it just looks almost like 2D, 3D. Like, I can't really tell, like, if they're using a 3D model at that point or a 2D model. But in my mind, there's definitely like times where it's like very smooth animation, and other times where it's kind of like a little on the jankier side. I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that.
It was the first season, and yeah, that animation, it needed some improvement, but hey, you know what? It's the first season.
I think season 1, it kind of was the starting point. It still blew us away. The animation was pretty smooth, but when you compare it to the experience and fluidity of season 2, it kind of definitely looks choppy now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guess so. But like we obviously have the privilege of having already watched season 2. There is an attention to detail, and sometimes a forgetful attention to detail, such as Little Kato's shirt and stuff like that, or I don't know if it's in this episode or not, just because I'm not a terrible nitpicker like that, but
I am.
Yeah, you are.
We know, Josh.
It's probably in a future episode. But when Gary suddenly has a robot arm, and then suddenly it's back to his human arm, and then back to the robot arm.
That's a very common error in this show.
Yeah.
It just gets switched around all the time.
Well, not so much this episode because, spoiler alert, he hasn't lost his arm yet.
Oh no!
Not yet. Oh, and then in the little intro, maybe a little bit of foreshadowing, but Gary asks, Hugh, what would he do?
If he had a corporeal body.
And then he would go to Paris.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a setup for season 2, possibly. Okay, and so then after the intro, like Gary doing his little vlog thing, and how he calls himself insane.
He definitely is insane.
Who'd have thunk Gary's a YouTuber?
He's a vlogger.
But I definitely feel a little more, not exactly validated, but a little more like, yeah, see, he even called himself insane. Like, it's not so crazy for me to think that, like, yeah, him talking to himself for 5 years is borderline insanity.
He's still sending messages.
But then again, I guess 5 years has passed, so yeah, I guess she could have been off in space somewhere.
Doing Infinity Guard military stuff.
Who knows?
But I think that message that was supposed to go through was properly deceiving because, Gary's recording is like, sends the message, and then it immediately goes to Quinn getting the message, and then it's like, Tribor is like, hey, there's an Infinity Guard ship that crashed. How did it crash? I don't know.
I need you to check it out.
I don't know why I tried to do Tribor with Danny DeVito.
My favorite thing about it is while he is recording, Avocato's just in the background, 100% done with everything.
He's like, why is this insane person tying me with, like, what was it again? What did he tie him with?
He's cuffed. He's basically just handcuffed.
Yeah. It wasn't handcuffs, though. Yeah, it was like duct tape, I think.
Gary slapping Avocado.
And then he just goes, like, with a little meow.
Avocato's cat noises.
He's not a cat, y'all. He's a Ventraxian.
Bet we'll never hear that again.
We get a very lovely song from Kevin. Josh, would you care to sing that for us?
No.
I'll sing it.
Okay, Blaze, go ahead. Be our guest.
Holes, 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 nothing but holes, 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 holes. I can't sing the whole thing without laughing.
Very lovely. Thank you for that.
We lead in with that.
Thank you for that, Blaze.
But yeah, they're fixing holes on the ship.
Yeah, so in episode 1, Gary's ship was partially destroyed by asteroids, and now the Sames have been tasked with fixing the ship. Kevin is just
Being Kevin.
Yeah, definitely Kevin.
singing a song. Suddenly there's a little robot that comes in, a little drone.
A Ventraxian stealth probe.
And then we finally get Gary just absolutely annihilating that probe with Kevin.
Kevin is just the perfect weapon. He's indestructible.
It's almost like you can't break a Kevin.
We learned that the probe is from a little alien named Turk, who happens to be
One of Avocato's ex-co-workers.
His ex.
ex-co-worker. Yeah, I guess so.
Technically, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but I guess, they do crime together. So I guess they work together.
Can you put that on a LinkedIn profile? We do crimes together.
They're partners in crime.
Well, that's what I was like trying to get at. I was just like, I don't think they're, like in an office, logging in hours and like, oh, it's my old 9 to 5.
9 to 5, I'm a bounty hunter.
Avocato has this, little how would you describe it? He sets up Gary for the possibility of being captured by the Lord Commander for harboring Mooncake and keeping him away from the Lord Commander, and how they would go to, what was it, the Dark Zone?
The Dark Zone has no salt.
Oh, that's it. He would torture us with Zarnon slugs. So that's the other thing with this this episode, I think it has some of the more iconic quotes because Gary says, I've got these buns into a hot vice.
How do I stop him?
Also the very iconic, they got street meat avocado. And then we have the clasp of friends.
The most iconic clasp.
So that's what I'm trying to say is like, I kind of wish we hadn't seen like season 2 yet because at the time, like how they're setting this up, the clasp of friends, signifies true trust between two individuals, and Avocado's like, we don't have to get buck ass naked, do we? And for whatever reason, apparently tradition states that they do, but Gary considers himself more of a progressive. So we have that. So now we're establishing that they're like kind of like friends. But when you think about it, and they kind of mention it, it's just like Avocado is just trying to kill Gary. Gary's now friends with an alien and a Ventrexian. And immediately he's already like, I want to be friends. Like, we played cards together for 9 hours. I consider you a friend now.
Even though you were restrained for most of those 9 hours.
I mean, besides that, it just, I think that just definitely sort of plays into like the like juvenile Gary. Like, he's sort of, I mean, we don't really know how he was before these 5 years, but like it kind of seems like, his social understandings maybe have regressed. The fact that, I mean, on the one hand, he's like very trusting of people, which is okay. That's cool. It's good to be trusting of people, but also, like he sort of mentioned, he's only known this other stranger for 9 hours and has only played cards with them, even though he was just trying to get, he was almost killed by them. And he's like, okay, let's shake hands.
Let's be friends.
Let's be friends. I'm desperate. Please, I want to be your friend.
Yep, pretty much exactly that. They obviously have to get off the ship, and Hugh is obviously, for the most part, distrustful of Gary because he's still a fugitive. And he asks a very legitimate question, like, how do I know you won't run? And
And before he answers, it just gets injected with this mysterious thing that will make his brain explode.
in 5 hours. We all kind of know that Olin sort of plays down more adult words, such as, he'll say crap. I don't really like jumping around so much between, I try to keep it, like, let's just talk about this season, what's happening in this episode. But in this case, I just have to do it because I just made this connection in my head right now. Season 1, episode 2, Gary talks about whiz, and season 2, episode 2, he talks about piss.
Oh
Not the piss. Please.
So,
no!
I don't know why I just made that connection, but apparently, whiz is important to this show.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's the one time I really kind of want to break that rule.
I'd say go to your happy place, but we know what that entails.
To kind of go back on voice acting, well, I mean, comparatively, I think Olin is still stronger than Koti, but I still love the way that Olin, like, pronounces things. Like, for whatever reason, just the way that he says whiz, he puts a real stinky emphasis on, like, the H, so it's like, whiz.
Whiz.
And then, like, later in the episode, if you are very attentive to who it is speaking, we kind of hear Conan O'Brien as Clarence. I just really love the way he says primate.
Primate.
Primate. With a roll of the R.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he just puts some real funk on it. Some just, oh, primate. I think that's what's kind of, at least in this season, a little unfortunate, is that we only have this, like, one interaction with Clarence. Even in this one little scene, I really fell in love with him. And, I hope he comes in later.
Don't worry, we'll see lots more of him later. much later.
Well, as you know, Jeremy, I don't feel the same way about
Me
Clarence.
neither.
But we don't know much about him at this point.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So as a first intro into him, into that character, or really into any of these characters, but we'll talk about Clarence right now. How do you feel about him?
He's like this shady businessman that just sells skin suits
Yep,
and papers.
he's a slimy guy who could get you fake IDs.
Or could like get you in like a club or something.
And the worst fursuiter ever.
Using actual dead people as skins.
How does he get that stuff?
Like maybe they were behind on payment or whatever, and he hired a hit on them.
Oh, jeez.
and using their body.
That's dark.
I mean, you don't know. Without knowing too much about their previous history together, what do you think Avocato did that, like, Clarence owes him favors?
That's an interesting question.
Probably a bounty hunt gone wrong.
What do you mean?
If Ava was tasked to get something for Clarence, Clarence ended up coming along and almost died, but Avocado saved his life.
Yeah, I guess I could see that happening.
Or it could be a stupid thing where Clarence slipped on the floor and Avocado caught him before he died. Jeremy.
What?
Get in the skin. Oh, it's so warm.
It's like a slippery little pita pocket.
Get your finger out of my tummy. I guess that sort of plays into the whole Gary as immature and childish. The fact that he calls it tummy.
Primate.
I'll touch you anytime I wish, primate. Skin of a dead hooblat. No, if you were trying to lay low and not get discovered by people, would you put on somebody else's skin?
Is it a life or death situation, or is it like...
Is it just like not threatening, or is it like real threatening?
If you were in Gary's situation, would you put on somebody's skin?
Probably not.
No.
Would you, Jeremy, would you take the plunge and wear a dead person's skin?
I don't think I would go Buffalo Bill. But I think if the opportunity presented itself, you shouldn't say no.
Oh my gosh. Disgusting.
Jeremy!
Well, no, I mean, let's consider the facts here, is that you don't want to be captured by somebody who might kill you, and so you happen to put on, as they put it, a wet pita pocket.
A corpse. You're wearing a corpse.
Well, no, it's not. It's only the skin.
That makes it worse.
Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, what if Clarence just like got those organs out of there? Ugh.
He probably sold them.
He would. Oh my god.
Of course he did.
Because that's Clarence.
No, and I also love how they both Avocado and Clarence were just like, get in the skin. But also, the very weird thing to me, it's not that Gary's putting on the skin, it's that he immediately like grows used to it and like decides that it's like part of him now, and he's just like, what if I got, my hair dyed, like I've accepted my life now as
I shall call this episode The Lengths Gary Goodspeed Will Go To for Cosplay.
Let's talk about Turk.
Okay.
Turk the Jerk.
What do you want to talk about Turk, Blaze?
Well, he is a jerk. We don't really see him that much, but man, he just gets annihilated by that gun.
That is Avocado's pistol.
It's a little gun that shocks people to death.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like, so Turk knows where Avocado's son is, and Avocado doesn't. And then Turk is about to, go haywire and possibly kill, Avocado, because that's what bounty hunters do when they double cross each other. Avocado's little pistol has this very violent, I guess, second fire, where it just shocks people to death until they explode?
Yep.
I'll let you go. I'll let you go to hell. Wow, brutal.
Gary gets, pushed off the ledge, and for whatever reason, their sorting process or their recycling process on TERA CON Prime can identify bodies.
Apparently.
Like, either maybe because they could, like, see... Well, no, because, like, what they're doing is they're scanning the face, even though there's, an eye missing. They somehow recognize it as Melanie de Winter. But, like, maybe Gary had, like, the papers on him. I'm giving the show the benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt that their ID process is DNA based and can be, like, implanted in a body. Or in the skin.
Yeah, exactly. Or, like, they didn't show it, but, like, he had the papers on him, and they, like, x-rayed it, and they could identify, oh, that's Melanie de Winter because of their papers, even though it's clearly, to us, it's clearly a human in an ooblat skin. Then we get to see the de Winter home.
Oh dear. This scene made me uncomfortable the first time I watched it.
It makes me uncomfortable now when I watch it.
I mean, it makes me uncomfortable, but, like, it's just, why is Gary so accepting of, like, everything that's going on around him? Like, he readily accepts that he has to wear the skin of a dead hooblat, and then he instantly is like, hey, I should ombre my hair. And then he gets dropped into the house, and he's like, okay, I'm ready to be a mom now.
Gary Goodspeed, Mom of the Year.
But, like, that's what I'm saying is, like, I guess, he has compassion for these grieving people, but the fact that he was like, yeah, I'm your mom, like, no?
This made this situation very awkward.
Yeah. Oh, they told us you were dead.
I'm sorry, what? What was that? Everything with your sister was a mistake.
Honestly, those kids should get a new parent, because my god,
Like, they should get a new dad?
you cheating bastard.
Well, how do we know that he was cheating while Melanie was still alive? Because, like, the way I see it is that maybe he, like, my wife is dead, I'm gonna hit it up with the sister.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Is that the rebound?
I guess.
Then why would he tell his wife, who he just learned is not dead, that everything with her sister was a mistake?
Like, that's one of the things you shouldn't tell her when you first see her again.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that should have happened during this sequence, but a lot of them did happen.
Yeah, like, first of all, wearing the skin of a dead person.
So, as Turk pointed out, he knows where Little Kato is. Very good coincidence, I guess. He happens to be on TERA CON Prime under the very watching eyes of the Lord Commander.
Oh no.
Oh my god, what happened?
It was a trap for Avocato.
Taken prisoner.
Well, that's the interesting thing. So, I guess let's think about it. His son is being held prisoner, and why is there a trap out for Avocato when he's being employed by the Lord Commander to capture Mooncake? Like, besides outstanding circumstances of why Little Kato... Fuck off, policeman. Besides outstanding circumstances of why Little Kato is being held captive, why is there a trap laid out for Avocato in case he would ever find Little Kato?
That is an excellent question.
Maybe he just doesn't want him to see his son.
Well, I don't think it's so much that. I think it would probably be more so like the Lord Commander doesn't trust anyone.
What if, since the Lord Commander knows that Avocato is stuck on the Galaxy 1, he is thinking that Avocato would end up going rogue, and the only way to bring Avo back to headquarters being TERA CON Prime, is to somehow leak the information that Little Kato is there. So it's an incentive to bring Avocato back to talk to the Lord Commander about how, if he's captured Mooncake or not.
Well, I don't know if I would necessarily agree with leak, because at least during episode 1 and episode 2, the bounty hunters being, let's just say, Avocato and Turk is, trying to send messages to the Lord Commander. We don't know if they're going through, but he does, in this episode, he finds out about Mooncake. He tries to send a message to whatchamacallit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He goes directly instead of trying to send a text.
Yeah, exactly. So either that means that in the meantime between him flying off and Avocato and Gary finally getting onto TERA CON Prime, that either means that he was able to directly speak with the Lord Commander,
or he knew that Little Kato was on TERA CON Prime before they went on the mission.
Yeah, exactly. So like there's a couple of like circumstances like that. Either he knew about. Well, let's get into that. So this is my thought process. Why would the Lord Commander tell
Turk?
Yeah, why would he tell Turk, who is working with Avocato, where his son is? So let's just say if he got back to TERA CON Prime and was able to tell the Lord Commander first, that means then they set up, okay, so this is where Avocato's son is. He actually happens to be here. And if you ever run into Avocato again, make sure to tell him that because I'm setting up a trap for him. Or Turk already knew when he was hunting down Mooncake with Avocato. He already knew where the Little Kato was. And so then he flies off to the Lord Commander to go tell him. But let's just say he touches down on TERA CON Prime and doesn't have time to talk to the Lord Commander yet before Avocato and Gary arrive. So he already knows that Little Kato is there. How would the Lord Commander know to set up a trap for Avocato? I mean, that's where I'm kind of hung up on right now, is that either, the Lord Commander is not trustful of his own people, that he would set up traps for them, or there happened to be some behind the scenes work that we're not made aware of, but help fill in these sort of miniature plot holes within the episode.
Well, granted, he has reasons not to trust Avocato.
We don't know about that yet, though.
That's true.
Trying to come from it from a fresh pair of eyes, we don't know much about Avocato's backstory. We just know that he's a bounty hunter. And so that's why, it kind of baffles me right now, is that if you're trying to really digest that, why is the Lord Commander setting up a trap for a bounty hunter that he employed? It doesn't make sense.
Where did all the synth go?
Avocato falls for this trap. Gary's like, okay, I have 2 hours to save myself, Little Kato, Avocato, and Mooncake. Wait, why were they visiting TERA CON Prime again?
They were trying to get Turk, who was going to leak that Mooncake was aboard the Galaxy 1.
So they had to get rid of him.
That's right. Okay, so yeah, that just throws more of a wrench in then. Now that I think about it, when Gary and Avocato are picking up the body, Clarence says they're looking for you and Mooncake on the Galaxy 1, and Gary's like, wait, how do you know that? And Clarence is like, what do you mean? It's all over the place.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, exactly. So that means, okay, so that makes sense now. That means that Turk probably did end up telling the Lord Commander.
And then he made an announcement or something.
But then I just watched the confrontation between Avocato and the Lord Commander again, and the Lord Commander is like, you failed me again, and Avocato is like, I know, but I'm close. I can get you Gary,
the guy who has Mooncake.
Exactly. So that brings up this other little plot hole. Okay, so the Lord Commander knows that Mooncake is on the Galaxy 1. He does or does not know that Avocato was just on
the Galaxy 1.
Yeah. So how does he not already know about Gary? Why does Avocato have to say, I know him, his name's Gary? I guess maybe because Turk didn't know what Gary's name is? Okay, that's probably it. Why do I not think about this?
Imagine Turk telling Lord Commander, there's a blonde himbo on board.
Did you just use the word himbo? I guess I just need to think things through before I start vocalizing them.
There's a blonde dork on board. Do you know his name? No.
So I guess the Lord Commander didn't know. Now that I think about that, I probably thought too quickly, and I was like, oh, I'm onto something, but Gary is obviously offended that he clasped hands with Avocato. I guess maybe not offended, but he kind of quickly learns that, Avocato was just about to betray him to save his own skin and to save his son. And then it takes Avocato all of like 2 seconds to be like, okay, fine, I'll help out.
Yeah, you seem like a good person, so.
Like, the Lord Commander made him forcibly dab. That's it. That's just not cool, man.
Please. Now I have to put that in the episode.
Look, he's dabbing.
Gary is in the clutches of the Lord Commander. His telekinesis is overpowering him. How does Avocato decide to react? He decides that pulling on Gary is the best option.
Wouldn't that hurt more?
Well, I mean, granted, how else are you gonna try to pull him away?
I mean, I guess to be fair, his gun was probably taken away. So it's not like he could have like shot at the Lord Commander and like distracted him. But do we know that like the Lord Commander can have power over like two people at once? Because like maybe he could have just like ran at the Lord Commander and like tried to punch him or something.
Must have been a first response thing. You don't have that much time to think. Just go to the guy who's being affected, try to pull him out of there.
I'm gonna grab the friend.
Well, they pull his arm off. They pull Gary's arm off.
And cue a lot of screaming.
Which means either Avocato is pretty damn strong, or Lord Commander's telekinesis is pretty damn strong. Or both, because if the telekinesis was the only thing, then it would pull Avocato as well in that direction.
I guess, yeah. I could see that. For whatever reason, now the Lord Commander is off-put either by Gary screaming or his blood landing on his face, even though in episode 1 he was seemingly fine with it with the other person's blood landing on his face.
I think he just doesn't like screaming.
That's probably it.
Maybe he's covering his eyes because he can hear through his eyes. He doesn't have ears, does he?
Where are his ears?
Okay, what a very weird topic we just landed on.
We don't know. We don't know his anatomy. We don't know Lord Commander's species. Maybe because it's just a lot of blood, and it could have gotten in his eyes.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Sorry, I'm rewatching, and I just love, I will murder your face off.
I will murder your face on?
That doesn't make any sense!
And then we got Gary slapping Avocato again, but this time with his detached arm.
Oh, I love that. Just so audacity of like, I'm gonna slap you with my disembodied hand.
Yeah, I love that detail. Actually, wait, is that the same arm that he slapped him with earlier?
Actually, I think it is.
Probably, yeah. No, but that's another instance of when I think the animation is done really well, when they're running towards like potential new ships. Like, I just kind of wish they adopted that style more. Maybe it's a lot heavier on the animation to do, but it just seems so fluid. Maybe it's because it's like half 2D, half 3D, because I watched it again and there's definitely a little bit of a camera zoom that doesn't seem natural to the animation. It more so seems...
You think they did it in post?
They absolutely did it in post. So I guess I'm kind of hypocritical about when I like it and when I don't like it. When it's done well, it's done well. But when it's done poor, it's done poor. And then, of course, they have the very long fall.
I love that. I love how TERA CON Prime is basically just a chunk of a planet with a massive drive shaft in the middle of it, where you can fall through, like...
It's like a giant hole.
It's shaped like, what is it? Star Wars, Cloud City, where someone can fall off and then just appear on the underside of it. It's kind of like that. And that is one very, very long fall. Also, did you notice, as they're falling, the wanted posters? They already have wanted posters of both of them.
Like, the Lord Commander, after they say, like, after them, it's like, okay, make some wanted posters, like, right now.
You know what I just realized a little bit?
What's up?
Both Olin and Cody had to just scream in the recording booth. Just, ah.
That would have been so fun to be in the booth for, to just hear two grown men screaming in the booth.
We're falling.
Okay, Cody, gargle this water. It'll be like you're throwing up.
Oh. And then at the very end, they're hugging, and they're in a shield, and
Hug of friends.
Oh, they hug.
and Gary is calling all Hugh, who has been disabled by Nightfall. Oh hey, there's the transition that we needed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Nightfall.
This is the first we see of Nightfall.
When she introduces herself to Mooncake.
Hi, Mooncake. My name's Nightfall. At this point, we don't even know who Nightfall is. They're just this mysterious figure.
Yeah, it just suddenly appears in the holding bay of the Galaxy One, and I mean, a very, very badass design, I would say, especially because, yeah, just, the one eye, and they got a gun.
I remember first looking at the suit. I thought she was a dude, and I thought he was going to be an alien.
I wouldn't blame you.
I actually kind of mistook I mistook Nightfall's suit for Turk when I first saw it. So I thought, like, Turk took over the ship when they had left out.
Yeah, I thought she was like another bounty hunter. I was like, oh hey, I'm just gonna hack this ship.
Yeah, who wanted to, like, kidnap the ship, and then Hugh would go all Home Alone on her and set off, like, booby traps in the Galaxy One.
I'm just imagining like a bunch of marbles on the floor.
I mean, I guess in a sense he already was, though, because of the Sames, but she was clearly more powerful than the Sames, so it's not...
Or she already knew the defenses of the Galaxy One.
Yeah, so that's like another plot point, I guess, is that the Galaxy One's security system, the fact that, like, Nightfall is able to hack, quote-unquote, into Hugh and manually override him through a screen. Like, I'm going to manually override this AI system right now by launching a little device at a screen.
Little sticky probe thing.
But then she introduces herself to Mooncake as she's putting in, a USB flash drive into Kevin. And lo and behold, she kind of looks like Quinn.
Future Quinn. Well, I was like, holy crap, there's two Quinns? Well then.
You were just so ready to accept that fact. You're just so ready.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's either time travel or it's an alternate universe thing. I guess it could have been like an older relative, but then why would they look so similar?
The C plot.
The C plot is leading towards this whole series-long story, I think. It's sort of like planting the seeds of there's something off in the galaxy.
There's a conspiracy.
We have the conspiracy of an Infinity Guard cruiser crash landing.
They just don't do that.
Quinn and Tribor are investigating, and then suddenly she has a reading on her device of sorts about a gravitational anomaly that could tear the universe apart.
Ooh.
So what does she do? She does the logical thing. She wants to talk to her higher-ups, tell them what's going on, and they shut her up.
Okay, the captain is also an idiot.
Did that immediately sow seeds of distrust in you in the Infinity Guard as a first-time watch?
Honestly, yeah. It's like, these people are just kind of stuck up and just kind of like, they don't want to let her do this.
What about you, Jeremy? What did you think?
So I don't think I immediately thought that it was a cover-up. I guess, like, for the benefit of the doubt, I think when I first watched it, I definitely thought, okay, this is an important meeting right now. They can't just drop everything.
Yeah, I was thinking they would have bigger things to attend to, like running the galaxy, where she would have to go on her own while they're busy doing maintenance things.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So, like, if you've ever been in, like, bureaucracy or have seen, how city council meetings or government council meetings sort of run, that's, like, an issue of, like, where things get, like, tabled And also, if it's not on the agenda to discuss, you're not really welcome to discuss that thing because you're diverting, attention from other important issues. So I think to me, it was definitely just sort of like, hey, you just sort of barged in here with no like clear authority in the room. You need to shut up and leave.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But Quinn decides to go rogue. She decides to go rogue and investigate for herself. So now she's I wouldn't say she's defecting from the Infinity Guard.
No, she's more like an offshoot, kind of doing her own thing.
She's hijacking a hawk.
With the aid of her, what is Tribor? Her assistant? A lower ranking member?
Co-worker.
They wear different uniforms, though. He's in like that white and blue accents, and she's in blue with white accents.
Maybe he's a secretary. And then, the very end of the episode, the Lord Commander says, something to the effect of, where you're going, your dad will never find you. And it sets it up for the next couple episodes, don't it?
I wonder where he's going.
I wonder where.
Gary and Avocato have already been through a lot. They were trying to keep Mooncake safe, ended up on a new mission. Gary is an armless person now.
Your arm is off.
Tis just a flesh wound. But yeah, so now they have a new goal. Gary and Avocato now have the goal of rescuing his son, Little Cato. And they seal it with a clasp after Avocato repairs his arm.
Sounds like a good mission to me.
Also, I'd like to call to attention that some of the sames that are helping, one of them is just named Pennies.
And then there's also Other Beth, who apparently Gary has told many a deep secret to.
All his dark secrets.
Hopefully that fridge doesn't have a microphone.
But like, how many dark secrets does he have?
5 years.
I guess 5 years worth of dark secrets. That really puts a damper on things for this show then. But I guess only knowing a literal flashback of his story about how his dad flew off into space and apparently blew up. I guess that's not really a deep dark secret. It's more so just character development.
Traumatic childhood experience.
Blaze, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you all so much for listening to episode 3 of TERA CON Prime Time, where we discussed episode 2 of Final Space. Once again, my name is Jeremy.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Blaze.
Thank you all so much for listening. You can find all of our relevant social media down below.
And come hang out with us on the Final Space Discord.
Be sure to like and subscribe to TERA CON Primetime on YouTube.
And we'll see you next time on TERA CON Prime Time.